It was night. The garden was silent, but inside Jesus, a storm raged. He knelt alone in Gethsemane, the weight of the world pressing down on him, not just physical pain, but the crushing burden of every sin, every betrayal, every sorrow. He wasn't afraid of nails. He was broken by the distance sin would bring between him and the Father. He prayed, "Father, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me." Yet even in anguish, he surrendered. "Not my will, but yours be done." This was his hardest moment, and he chose to face it alone. For us. The friends he trusted most were just a stone's throw away, but they slept. While Jesus sweat drops of blood, they couldn't stay awake. He asked for support and got silence. He asked for presence and was left alone. But still, he stayed. Still, he prayed. Still, he obeyed. Because love stays, even when no one else does. Gethsemane wasn't just a place of pain. It was a place of decision. The turning point, where Jesus said yes to the cross, to suffering, to saving you. Not because it was easy, but because you were worth it. He could have walked away. He had the power to stop it all. One word, and angels would have come. But he stayed. Not because he had to, because he chose to. Because he saw beyond the betrayal, beyond the blood, beyond the cross. He saw you in your fear, in your shame, in your distance. And he knew the only way back to the Father was through the garden, through the trial, through the pain. So he embraced every step for love, for you, even when it cost him everything. If you feel God's whisper today, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to hear more. In Gethsemane, we don't just see Jesus' divinity, we see his humanity, a Savior who trembles, who weeps, who feels the full weight of sorrow and still doesn't quit. He didn't numb the pain. He walked through it. Because real love doesn't run from suffering. It walks into it for the sake of the one loved. He prayed not once, but 3 times. Not because God didn't hear, but because his heart was breaking. And still, he chose surrender. Still, he said yes. Even with a shaking voice, he said yes to the cross, to rescue us all. The same Jesus who healed the blind, who raised the dead, who spoke with power, now lies face down in the dirt, not defeated, but surrendered. This was not weakness. This was the greatest strength the world has ever seen. Choosing obedience over escape. Choosing love over comfort. Choosing us over self-preservation. He didn't run from the cup. He drank it. Every bitter drop. So you would never have to face your darkest moment alone. He faced his alone, so that in your Gethsemane you could know he understands. He's been there, and he stays with you still. As he rose from that prayer, the betrayal had already begun. Torches approached, footsteps echoed, and one of his own, A friend walked toward him with a kiss, not a stranger, not an enemy, but Judas. Jesus didn't flinch, didn't run. He stood still and met the moment, because even betrayal couldn't shake his mission. He wasn't caught. He surrendered. He stepped into the suffering because he had already settled it in the garden. The cross wasn't forced on him. He carried it by choice. For you. The soldiers took him. Chains bound his hands, but not his heart. He was led like a lamb to slaughter, silent, steady, certain, because the victory was already won in Gethsemane. Not at the tomb, not even on the cross, but there, in that Garden of Agony, where he could have said no, but said yes. He bore the silence of heaven so you could live in the presence of God. He faced rejection so you could be accepted. Every moment of torment began there with a choice, and he made it, eyes wide open, heart full of love. Gethsemane shows us a Savior who didn't just die for us. He wrestled for us. He felt the fear, the sorrow, the loneliness, and still said, "Thy will be done." He walked into pain so you could walk into grace. He chose surrender so you could know freedom. This is not just a story, it's an invitation to trust Him in your own garden moments, when the weight is heavy, when no one understands, when you feel completely alone. He's been there, and He stayed. So now, He can stay with you. What part of Jesus' Gethsemane speaks most deeply to your own struggle? Share it in the comments. Your voice matters.